Yo, what's going on, guys? Mr. Clements here, and as you can tell by the title of the video, or if you didn't already know, because I didn't make it too apparent when I first started, is I'm going to be talking about sort of my experience and current experience now with depression and anxiety and how I'm coping with it and the sort of mechanisms I put in place, how I began to sort of understand that I had depression and I was developing it, and just really tell you my sort of story alongside why I had it. And fingers crossed, you know, there's a few people out there that will no doubtably have depression and anxiety. It's very, very common, but a lot of people don't really talk very much about it, so I kind of want to bring some light on my experience and hopefully help you guys. Huge, like the biggest disclaimer ever, I swear that this is my experience. I totally understand that every single person's case is completely different to my own. It's very unique. It creeps up on you in different ways, it affects you in different ways, and people handle it in different ways. So yeah, this is literally just my story about the whole topic. So I don't know if a lot of you knew. You can ask friends, family, you know, well, majority of you guys already know this, but I have always been like the happiest, chirpiest chappy. There was a point in my life way back where I had tried to overdose to try and obviously kill myself. Sounds like a typical Twitter gif there. Kill yourself. But yeah, I tried to kill myself, and from doing so I developed primary liver cancer. And from that day on I decided, you know, I'm going to be very happy, very cheerful, and a lot of you see that in my videos or see it in my personality when you get to meet me. And as cringe as it may be, obviously my song was Mr. Brightside, because I would always be very, very happy. So probably from the age of like 16, 17, I never really had a down day. I got upset about certain things, that's understandable, but I just hid everything away. Now, sometime like last year, there was like a lot of beef, a lot of accusations, and just a lot of hard shit for me to deal with. I bottled it up extremely well. I made it very well, you know, very clear that it didn't affect me. But obviously I have a tendency to bottle things up inside, which I now know is probably not the best way to go about things. Just trying to get comfy here. I'm literally sat in the corner of my bed. You know, towards the end of last year, things were going like extremely well for me. Like I can't put in words how fantastic stuff was for me. I was getting brand deals, I was getting sponsorships. I had just moved into this apartment, which is insane. I have like the nicest housemates you'll ever meet. Declan, Lorene, Lucian, my landlord, and Tim, who you probably know as Jax Jones, music producer. And like they're the sickest people, and the whole house is just such a great vibe to live in. No one's really down, everyone's all bubbly, like fun-spirited, and they managed to put up with me, and I don't fucking know how, but they do it. So sort of on top of that, I had literally just got a promotion at work as well. So the whole of last year I worked very hard. You know, I came in, I handled myself well, I made a few mistakes, but at the same time I got my job done, and you know, I worked hard for myself, and it got noticed, and I got a promotion, and I knew my worth back then, so I pushed for more money. They gave me a set amount, and I said, no, I want this amount salary, and they were like, fine, we'll take it, we'll take you on. I flew out to LA, which some of you know, and it was the most amazing experience of my life, like just succumbing to like my positive feelings for once and actually just saying, you know what, fuck it, let's just go to LA, let's just go have fun and see what happens. And while I was there, I really came out of my shell. I'm a person who, at a party, I'll cling to the person I'm with, but this time around I decided not to do that, and I made a lot of friends. I made some great friends in LA, Ryan, Davis, Roxy, Tara Jean, Meg, Jess, you know, the list goes on, and it was fantastic. I mean, the thing is with depression, it doesn't, you don't just wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I hate everything. It takes steps and it eventually gets you. So in December, I had a real bad experience when I was coming home from LA. I hadn't paid for any insurance, obviously, because it's more money. I don't want to waste money. And in doing so, I had a flight that got delayed. It was a connecting flight to Charlotte, from LA to Charlotte, and then from there I was supposed to be traveling straight back home. And instead I missed my flight, and I tried beforehand. I was like, look, is my flight delayed? I can see it's delayed. Am I going to make it? They were like, yeah, you're going to make it. You'll be fine. You'll make your connecting flight. I said, are you sure I could get on another flight? They were like, no, trust me. This is what you got to do. So I got on it. I ended up landing in Charlotte, and the plane had left without me. So I found someone to speak to regarding it, and they were like, no, your flight's gone. You're going to have to go on another flight. And I said, can I get one as soon as possible, please? I really need to get home. I've had a long journey. Just want to get home. And then they said, I'm sorry, that's the last flight. Like, that's the last flight for today. Everything else is just, there's no other flights. It's all cancelled. And I just broke down in tears in front of her. And I was like, fuck. I was like, okay, look, I need to get another flight. I had to contribute some money towards my flight, which cost me a bit of money that I just did not have. I spent majority of it in LA. I paid for a flight to New York, which took off in about 30 minutes time. I had 1% battery because it was a short flight from LA to Charlotte. They had no chargers or anything. All my stuff was dead. My phone was literally, I cannot make this up, was on 1% battery. And I found, you know, as much as I could resource-wise to get Wi-Fi and stuff. On top of that, my phone was cut off because I declared that my phone was I was gonna be in LA from said time, and in fact, I ended up saying that time, you know, it got cut off, which it wasn't great. I couldn't fix it because I didn't have access to my phone. On top of that, my bank card got blocked. I couldn't use my bank card to buy anything. I ended up having to put my phone behind a counter at a electronic shop and saying, look, can you do this for me? Can you charge it while I look for a way of getting out money? I found a way to draw out some money, which cost extortionate amounts to buy a portable phone charger. I flew to New York, again, short flight, had no like portable chargers or anything. And from there, I literally had an hour when I got to New York and transferred to a hotel, bought a hotel. It was quite cheap, but I bought a hotel and I had an hour to sleep. So I didn't sleep. I got my flight back from New York to London. When I got to London, the trains weren't running. Booked an Uber, which was like 50, 60 quid, which again was money I didn't have. I didn't have disposable income at that time. I'd spent it all on my flight and my trip and my journey. So I bought an Uber, I got all the way home, only to find out that when I got home at 2 AM in the morning, it was Christmas and everyone was down with their family. I was locked out of my house. I just broke down. I spent 2 hours contacting people to try and stay at their house. I was able to stay at one of my friend Tracy's, gorgeous girl, like fantastic woman. She put me up for the night. I had work the next day. And from there, it was just, I'm a very spiritual person. I believe, you know, if you think positively, positive things will happen. If you think negatively, negative things will happen. And at that point in time, I was very spiritual to the point where I was like, I blew it off. I was like, you know what, maybe it was the signs and stars telling me, you belong in LA. This is you. We don't want you to go back to London. Stay in LA. And that's what I thought, so I blew it off. In January, I started to develop illness. So I had 3 weeks off work. It's because I like to work. I like to be at work. And for the first time I ever had 3 weeks off work. It was awful. I couldn't have any friends over to see me. I couldn't have, you know, I couldn't go to work. For that time I couldn't get money. And it was just awful. And in that time period, sparing as much details, but someone quite important to me passed away, which on top of that sucked. It was just very hard for me. Later on down the line, things just kept getting worse. Skipping a lot of the details out, I eventually lost my promotion. I didn't go to work for 2 months. I really pushed everyone away from me. Some of my best mates, like Moose and Chris, I pushed away because of my depression and anxiety. I lost so many friends from work. I was scared. Like, I couldn't even get on the train. There was a day I got on the train and I just broke down. I couldn't deal with it. I felt like everyone was staring at me. My anxiety got the better of me and I just cracked. I flipped. I got off the train and I was just like, I need to walk home. I couldn't pay my rent at my house where I'm living now, thankfully. And then another important person, very inspirational girl. Some of you know her as Jade. We both had a form of cancer, and so we both used to hit it up in the DMs and like speak to each other and really boost each other's confidence. And when she passed away, it was like, fuck, like this is real now. And it got to the point where my landlord was kicking me out of my house. I hadn't worked in 3 months. I pushed everyone I know away from me. And yeah, it was shit. And it creeps up on you to the point where it affects you in so many ways. I cannot comprehend the amount of stuff I went through. Don't get me wrong, like, I actually see my thing as like a mild form of depression. I know a lot of people out there have it worse. Very, you can get suicides caused from depression. Not a lot of people like to speak about it, and I try to act very manly about it, and I didn't want to burden people with my issues. Eventually I went to the doctors and I got prescribed some of these. This citralopam, Celexa, I think it's called, which is a form of antidepressant, and that began to help me. I would literally spend 2 weeks in my house not eating. I would lay in my bed. There was this force that just would not allow me to get up. I would call up work and say, I can't come in. I just can't. I can't do it. I would break down. I'd cry over the phone. It got to the point where I was so, like, I just felt like I'd pissed off everyone in my house. I know I hadn't, but I just felt like I had, to the point where when my landlord was here or my housemates were here, I would lock myself in my room. Nobody would see me. And that happened for like 3 months, 4 months. Nobody spoke to me. None of my housemates see me. I lost a lot of weight, like 2.5 stone of weight. I was just running myself down, and part of it was because of depression. Depression and anxiety fucked me. But at the same time, it's because I handled it in the worst way. I didn't handle it at all. I would just push my friends away who were helping me, because I was like, in my head, I was like, no, I need to deal with this myself. Let me deal with this. I don't want to burden you with it. Leave off. I know my body more than you guys do. I'm going to sort this stuff out myself. I didn't go to the doctors for 2 months because I was like, I'll handle this. I'll get through it. I'll do this. There were episodes where I'd have a week off work and I'd be like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to be so much more energetic. Suffering with ADHD, normally that's what I do. And this time around, it was the wrong thing to do. I overstressed myself. The smallest tasks, like having a shower, I just couldn't do. I wouldn't shower for a week. I would just stay in my bed. If I'm honest, I smell, obviously. So I messed up in a lot of ways, and a lot of people will, you know, make these mistakes when suffering with it. A few small suggestions which helped me. I started to write lists. I'm awful at organisation, but I'd write lists. And so what I'd do is I'd say, you know, wake up, shower, cook food, etc. And my friend Ollie handled this in such a good way for me. So what I would do is in order for me to begin eating again, he was like, send me a photo of your food. Almost like I was a catfish. Send me a photo of your food and hold out a peace sign. Do this sign, put a spoon next to it, show me that you're cooking and you're eating. And when I did that, he would literally make me feel like I'd done something amazing. He'd be like, yes, Jake, I'm so proud of you. Like, you can do this, you're amazing. And that helped. And you need an Ollie in your life. Have someone there who will gas you up, who will big you up about small tasks, because it makes you feel, it makes you feel incredible. Another thing I would do is literally every day for about a week, I'd write like a list of 20 things I liked about myself. Like, I'd be like, Jake, you're funny, you're very creative, you're a hard worker, you've got a good work ethic. And writing that down every day, starting a new piece of paper every day, filing it away in my drawers, and doing one after the other after the other. Every day, after a week, you find other things you couldn't remember the other day about things you like about yourself. And eventually you become to perceive that as just being natural. So if somebody naturally says to you, what do you like about yourself? You'd be like, well, I'm funny, I'm creative, I'm a hard worker, I'm a logical thinker. And it gets embedded into your mind because it's a routine that you do. I started to focus on like little projects. So as you guys know, I designed my merch. So when I had a lot of time off, I would be playing music and just doing like designing. It was a passionate hobby of mine, something I really loved doing, that I invested more time in, which made me feel better about myself. Honestly, there was a point where I literally just spoke to someone for an hour. Find someone who literally will just listen to you. I had like 4 or 5 phone calls with friends that, Nick Crompton, spoke to him, Cass, David Argodinez, fucking amazing people. Ryan, who literally just sat there and just listened to me, heard me out, heard my side of the story, didn't have to contribute towards it, didn't have to say, why not try this, that. Literally just them listening to my story was the biggest relief I've ever had in my life. I just kind of wish I gave in a lot earlier to... everyone will say this to you. Talk to someone. Speak to someone. A lot of people don't understand that that's very, very hard to do when you have depression. Because you don't want to speak to a single person. I should have spoken to someone about it sooner than I had, and I wouldn't be in this mess. As I said, I've lost Moose and Chris, my best friends since I was in middle school, high school, and I made myself worse, and it was just a snowball effect. I began coping with it by really, the way Millie says it, is to treat yourself as lactose intolerant, but to depressive thoughts. So what I would do is any negativity, a friend saying a negative thing to me, a bad result on something, I acknowledged it, but at the same time I sort of looked at it and realised I don't need that, that's nothing, it's not going to affect me. Be more positive. It was forced. It was very, very forced. I spoke to people. I got therapy. I seek therapy from multiple different sources. I spoke to, at work, there's this retail program. I ended up speaking to my HR, telling them that, look, I need someone to speak to. Or like, I can't speak to my manager. I need a middle ground that I can just talk to. So I spoke with the retail therapy, retail program, which helped me understand a lot of places I could go to, how I could stop myself struggling financially. Went back to my old job, so I got fired from my promotion, I went back to my old job. I don't know what to say, it was hard. But, look at me now, a lot of you people have seen improvements in myself. I'm making this video, and every time I've sat down to make this video, God forbid, it's been the hardest thing ever. You know, there's just been a wall. There's always this wall, okay? Now, I've left out a lot of parts, obviously, personal reasons, etc. And I had like these 3 steps. The first step was get my job back. The second step was speaking to HR, making them aware of my financial situation, and seeing if there was any method to help me. And amongst those steps, I had occupational work therapist who assessed me, gave me some pointers and stuff. And then the last step was obviously speaking to my landlord and keeping my house. I'll spend my days laying in bed doing fucking nothing. 10 times better now if it wasn't for the people in my life who have helped me. Millie is just fantastic. Been there through thick and thin with me and has stuck by me, and I appreciate that, and has given me help and has done it in the way that I perceived as a right way, but it's different for all of you. And I just want you all to know, like, I genuinely mean this. If you ever want to speak about anything or talk about anything, abuse, you know, depression, anxiety, ADHD, it's a small subject, but it comes hand in hand with depression. Just anything in your life, boyfriend troubles, girlfriend troubles, oh babe, speak to me. Honestly, I can't stress that enough. I love any of you who have been here for a long time, have stuck by me. I fucking love you. Honest to God. And the fact that you know that I will always be there for you guys. I don't see myself as any higher up important person. I see myself just like everyone else. Like, I love all of you. You're all great. And a lot of you guys helped me through it. A group chat called Feel Good Fam. which I made like last year with some of my subscribers and viewers. Have now like become best friends. They're so lovely. They help me, very supportive people. This video has gone on for way too long. But my first video back should be this one. But I cannot stress it enough. Talk to someone. Please focus on you. Put yourself first. Don't worry what others think. Take some time out for you. If you begin to feel upset about something, work, school, take some time off. Spend a weekend for yourself. Do face masks. Go out, have a walk. Listen to music. Music is such a great thing in therapy. Listening to music can change your mood, and it helps for me a lot. Depending on what music I listen to, depends on my mood. And there's me. I'm always here. I'll have like links in the description and telephone numbers if you feel you need to speak to someone. Anyway, I've rambled on far too long. I hope you've enjoyed my little comeback video. I'm going to try my hardest to upload every week, and hopefully you'll see the old me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, share it with your friends who are going through similar situations. Give me some pointers. If you guys have any tips, I'd love to hear them. Honestly, leave comments down below. Smash that like button. Let's hit 50,000 likes. Well, anyway, love you lots.